Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna be making not spicy. You can make it mild. Rice cake, tteukbokki. So we're gonna make tteukbokki, and then we're gonna make something that goes along with tteukbokki, which is called gimmari. I would say tteukbokki is like the most popular street food ever, and it's been around the longest too. So we're gonna make tteukbokki because I had a craving for it. So we're gonna make that today, and let's get right to it. Okay, we're gonna start with the sauce. We have 2 cups of. We're gonna make the sauce first. We have 2 cups of finely ground chili flakes that you use for kimchi. If you can't find the finely ground ones, just buy the coarse ones and grind it up in your blender or coffee grinder like I did here. Then I'm gonna add a tablespoon of onion powder, tablespoon of garlic powder. I like mine a little spicy, so I'm gonna put a tablespoon of cayenne. So after you add the garlic, I'm gonna add a cup of soy sauce and a cup of sugar, and then 2 tablespoons of fresh garlic. So to that, we're also going to add about, this is the fructose. We're going to add about a cup of fructose. So again, if you don't have fructose, you just use corn syrup, okay? And we're going to mix this up. Look how easy. This is the base for our sauce already. It's already done. So it's gonna be a little stiff, and I'm gonna add about 1 cup of water. Just so that when I put this into the tteukbokki, it's gonna mix better. So this base you can make way ahead of time. I would make it probably like a week in advance and let it kind of like age a little in the refrigerator. You can put it into like a mason jar and just keep it in there. Some people cheat and use gochujang when they're making tteukbokki, and that's fine too. If you want to add a little more depth to the tteukbokki, you can add this as well as gochujang to it. So we have our sauce already made. Now the rice cake. When you buy it from when you go to the Korean rice cake store, it's in long form like this, and it's skinny. It's about in between half and a 3/4 inch. So, and they made it already for tteukbokki. It says tteukbokki already. And it's skinny. It's about in between half and a 3/4 inch. So, and they made it already for tteukbokki. It says tteukbokki already, and they sliced it into 3 so that it's not super long. Okay, so if you buy this, you're gonna tear it apart so that when you're cooking it, it's not all stuck together. So you need to separate it. So we have that ready, and then we have daepa. Koreans call this daepa. So it's like a cross between an onion, green onion, and a leek. So I'll show you. You see how this looks it's really thick compared to regular green onion. But the American leek, it's a lot tougher. So that's why you only use the white part when you're cooking with it, and you don't use the top. But the Koreans have peppa, which is like a cross between green onion and a leek, and you use the green part. It's tends to be chewy, but that's the texture that we like in food. So we put peppa into it. Then I have some onions cut into large julienne. And I have some shiitake mushrooms I just cut into large pieces. Usually this will have cabbage in it, but I had the yuchoi left over from my hot pot, so I'm gonna use the yuchoi I cut up into, but if you wanna put cabbage, you can put cabbage, just slice it up nice and thin, like the size of like the mushrooms and onions. And then I have some carrots, just cut into slices like this. So this is all our ingredients for the tteukbokki, and we have it ready on the side. Now we're gonna make the gimmari. So for the gimmari, we're gonna need the sweet potato starch noodles here. I already cooked it off. Follow the direction on the package, but I don't rinse it. I just drain it, and you see how sticky it is? This is what you want. So for this, we're gonna add, so you see how sticky it is? Okay? So we're gonna cut it up so that it'll be a lot easier for us to use as a filling. Use the scissors. Okay, now I'm gonna turn the pan on medium heat. I'm gonna add some sesame oil and some green onion. I have about three stalk of green onion in here. Then I have about a tablespoon of sugar. And I have mushroom powder. Instead of mirin, I put mushroom powder. Not mirin. Instead of MSG, I put mushroom powder. And then some soy sauce. I'll put about 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Again, that's just for flavors. I'm going to use salt to season it. So once it kind of comes together, I'm going to turn it off, take it off the heat. I'm going to taste. Actually, it doesn't need any more salt because the soy sauce added a lot of salt to it already. Okay, so now that I have the filling ready, I have my seaweed, kim. So when you have the kim, you see how this side is longer than this side? We're gonna fold it so that we're gonna fold it the long side. So we're gonna fold it like this. Cut it in half. Okay, and then we're gonna keep the shiny side in. We're gonna roll it shiny side in. We're not gonna put the filling into the rough side because we want the rough side, when we roll it up, we're gonna roll it up like this. So the rough side will be outside, and then the tempura batter will, or the frying batter will coat onto the rough side. Okay, so there's a method to my madness. So we're gonna take about this much, not too much, of the noodles. And we're gonna roll it out. I think we can go a little bit more. to make it nice and tight, roll it up, and then you're gonna leave it seam side down. And we're gonna repeat this. The rattling noise you hear is my cat playing with her toy. She's such a cheap girl because when I buy her expensive cat toys, she doesn't play with it. But when I get her like the cheap squeaky mouse from the dollar store, she will play with that like it's just like no tomorrow. So don't overstuff it or you're gonna have a hard time closing it. And I made a mistake on this one. I put the rough side on the inside, but that's okay. It will still taste good. So roll it up nice and tight. Make sure there's no noodle at the seam so it doesn't come apart. You're gonna put a seam side down. And keep the noodle away from the seam. See the first one here? I put the seam side down and it kind of like sealed on. You can't really see the seam until you see the end here. It sealed itself up. And this is the last one that I did. You see how it's still not stuck together? So the steam from the noodle will actually seal the end on itself. In the tempura batter, it makes a really good frying batter if you have less gluten in your flour. So I use cake flour. So I have about 1.5 cups of cake flour. And then we have a teaspoon of baking soda. And I have turmeric. So in Korean fried batter, tempura batter, they usually add turmeric to it to give it the color. And oftentimes it does not have egg in the batter. So we'll have that, and then I have my seltzer water. I'm gonna add seltzer water to this. Just add any kind of cold water. It doesn't have to be seltzer water, but I just happen to have some because I drink SodaStream. So I'm gonna add about a cup of cold water. Look how fluffy this batter is. Oh my god. So we have our oil going here. I'm gonna have my tray here. Okay, and I'm gonna take scissors and I'm gonna cut this into half. You can cut them into thirds, but it might be a little messy with the smaller ones. So I'm gonna cut it in half. That's a good size. It's like almost the size of the rice cake. A little bit bigger, but it's fine. Oops, that wasn't even at all. Look at this. But it's okay. It's gonna be delicious. Oh, this one didn't close all the way. little bit longer. But you see how it's almost ready, and look at the bubbles forming. I'm too anxious. I want to fry right away. Keep our oil cleaner. I'm going to take this out. And I also have some taro. I sliced that I'm going to tempura. Usually sweet potato is what you would do, but I don't have any, but I had taro, so I'm going to do taro. I don't know, I love taro so much. Okay, so we're going to put in it's a 326. So you see the color turning kind of like pink-ish color here? It's because it's reacting, the turmeric is reacting with turmeric, baking soda is reacting to the seaweed. So it's going to be pretty and delicious. Okay, so put in one. Basically, you just want to fry it until it's golden brown. And I do the same thing with these because I don't want to fry all the time. So I'll make a bunch of it, stick it into the freezer, and then I will put it in the toaster oven when I make tteukbokki and eat it with that. Okay, look at this. Try to get all these little bits of tempura batter. I'm gonna not add any more because the oil came down in temperature. It's at 324. We don't want it to go any lower than 320. We'll let it come back up before adding more. I can't wait. I'm gonna eat this one. I can't wait. I'm gonna eat this one. Hear that? Delicious. So everything is cut. You just want to get a nice golden crispy brown batter. That's a very Korean thing to do. Eat something really hot without cooling it. Because it tastes better when it's hot. You know? Because it tastes better when it's hot. You know? The thicker your batter, the longer it's going to take for your batter to get crispy. The thinner your batter, meaning more water you add, it's going to get crispier faster. You should have seen the first time I made this. I I didn't know how to make it, and I just kind of like guessed without finding out how to make it. And there was like when I dipped the gimbali into the batter, it's just like the noodles are everywhere. Like kind of like this one. It's starting to. This one didn't close all the way. So 1 out of however many I made, not bad. But I can kind of take this one. Doesn't that look delicious? And it's so pretty, look at this. Kind of like pinkish purple color. And if you have some kind of like dumpling, if you have mandu that I showed you how to make, or gyoza, you want to deep fry that, you can deep fry it, and it goes really well with the tteukbokki also. See, this one opened up, so this one's a fail. The last one that I did. Oof, this one's gonna be so greasy because it went all over the inside. I'm not gonna eat that one. Then I have to walk another like 2 hours just to burn that one. The calories of that one. Okay, so this is pretty much done. They're nice and crispy. Now I'm going to do the taro. So I'm going to put my taro pieces in here. This chopstick. 352, perfect. If you want to do shiitake in here, you can do shiitake, anything. Some onions if you want to do onion rings. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of more on top. I love tempura batter. Delicious. Okay. So crispy. Oh yeah, the taro's back. I'm gonna turn this off. So when you go to the South Korea, when you go to the food market area in South Korea, they have the street vendors all have their stalls all set up, and they'll pre-fry everything, and they'll just have everything lined up. And then when you are ready to order, you just tell them what you want, and then they'll refry it for you so that it gets crispy again. And then that's what you eat with the tteukbokki. So since we fried it and it's crispy right now, I have that really nice vegetable stock that I have left over from making the gravy for the meatloaf. So I'm gonna put it in here. You can use water if you don't have vegetable stock. I'm probably gonna eat this for a few days. This is enough for like 3 to 4 people, the portion. Then we're gonna add our rice cakes. Then we're gonna add, pretty much we're gonna add everything. Our onions. I'm gonna hold off on the cabbage or the yuchoy because it's gonna get too soft. And then we're gonna add our seasoning. I'm gonna add about half a cup to start with, to see if I need to add more later. But I think half a cup is enough for this amount. And I put about 4 to 5 cups of water slash stock. And usually this is made with like a fish broth. So I'm gonna add a little bit of our mushroom extract, or mushroom flakes. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. So when it comes to boil and then it gets nice and soft, I'm gonna add the yuchoy. I'm gonna taste this to make sure it's good. Really good. Delicious. Okay, so while this comes to temperature, oh yeah, and I have this. This is my vegan fish balls. My sister-in-law is Vietnamese and she buys these at the Vietnamese market, and actually her mom brings it for me to eat, so I'm gonna put that. Usually this has fish cake in the recipe. So we're gonna let this boil, and when it comes to boil and the rice cake gets softer, and then the starches from the rice cake come out and makes this like the soup, not so soupy, it gets a little bit thicker. That's when it's ready to eat. So we're gonna let this go, and then something else you could do, a lot of people do in South Korea. You take any instant ramen, and not the soup, you just take the noodle, and then when it starts to boil, that's when you add it in. So I'm gonna do that, and that's gonna be my lunch, and I'm gonna have leftover for days. Alright, so it's starting to boil. This is what I'm gonna put in my ramen. The lunch is gonna be so yummy. So this should be more than enough for like 4 adults. And for some people, this might not be enough salt for you, so you can add salt to it later. Reason why I didn't add salt to or seasoning when we made the sauce in the beginning, because if it's too salty, you can't take out salt, but you can always add more. Oh, look at that. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. I have like a spork, but it's a ladle to get some of the noodle. Got my sparkling water. I should taste this. Not salt. Yeah, a little bit better with the salt. Oh. Okay, the noodles are pretty much ready. I'm gonna take some of this. That's good. So good. Like they'll sell this at the Korean supermarket, but it's not always the best because it's been sitting there so long and the sauce gets super thick. You know? That's it. So good. Oh, the mushroom tastes so good. Now I'm gonna take one of these taro tempura. You could hear that sound. I'm sure you can hear it. It's crunchy stuff, even in the sauce. Ttdeukbokki. Still super crunchy. That's so good. I forgot to use try. It's okay. I put it in now. Oh yeah. On a cold day, this is perfect. I'm gonna eat a rice cake now. Oh, I broke it. Now I'm gonna take out all the noodle because I don't want it bloated. Because bloated noodle doesn't taste so good. You all have to try to make this. I'll take a vegan fish ball. I love this taro. I think I like the taro more than the sweet potato. You see how the sauce is getting thicker? It's perfect. Yum. Let's try the fish ball. Delicious. Hot. In South Korea, this is super cheap. Like one serving, you can get it for like few dollars. Not even few dollars. But I'm not in South Korea, so I have to make my own. Even the carrots are delicious. You guys, doesn't it look yummy? Make your own. So when it gets to this point where the sauce looks a little thick like this, you turn it on. And then now I'm gonna enjoy the rice cake along with some of the sauce. And more sweet potato tempura. It's soft and chewy and delicious. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching me make this meal and make your own at home. I swear it's so delicious. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel, press the like button, share with all your friends. And probably the next video I'm gonna do is gonna be, I'll probably do rice cake soup for New Year's. And patjuk. Patjuk is red bean porridge that usually for New Year's also. So I'm gonna make those videos coming up next. And after that, I think I'll do some sundubu. which is the soft tofu. Tofu usually comes in the pot with like different flavors. Oh, I'm gonna make that after the New Year's dishes. So we're gonna do tteokbokki next. So again, thanks for watching my video. Let me know if you want to see specific type of dish made into vegan dish, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.